got off to a shaky start with Sony this year. The Xperia X left us feeling a bit underwhelmed. We genuinely enjoy it when companies focus on a back-to-basics year. Sony walked away from what the Xperia Z represented and is claiming to focus on the features which really matter to consumers. But we're still apt to pay a premium for that Sony branding. Of course, before we can really review this phone, we have to get it out of the box. This simple packaging holds what you would expect it to. The Xperia X Performance greets you up front, we get a charger, a cable, and those papers we'll never, ever read. Like the regular Xperia X, it's an attractive handset, clean, angular lines, a monolith-styled design straight out of 2001: A Space Odyssey, and this brushed exterior looks great in the hand. There's just nothing separating this from its less expensive stablemate, and we wouldn't blame anyone for confusing them out in the wild. Most of these specs look familiar too: a 5-inch LCD with a 1080p resolution, 3GB of RAM and 32GB of storage, a 23-megapixel rear camera, front-facing speakers, and a micro USB port. Though we do move up from a 2,620 mAh battery to a 2,700 mAh battery, so that's an improvement. And we will be reviewing the international version of the Xperia, so our review phone does have a fingerprint sensor built into the power button, an option which will be removed from Xperia sold in North America. First boot is respectably quick, though the setup process does have a few additional Sony hoops to jump through, and the Wi-Fi scanning was one of the slowest we've seen during an initial setup. There are some helpful menus and an introduction widget to get people up and running quickly, and we get about the same collection of pre-installed bloatware we found on the regular Xperia X. Now, Sony's skin influences almost every aspect of the Android UI, but overall navigation is still stock adjacent. No one's going to be shocked pulling down the notification shade, switching apps in the multitasking menu, or scanning through settings. Early impressions, this phone is a solid performer, and it's a great form factor for using a phone one-handed. It's got a well-balanced bit of heft to it, which feels nice, and adds to that premium appearance. We love having a dedicated camera button, but this volume rocker still doesn't make much sense with how low it's mounted. It's early on, we just got this phone out of the box, but we're already having difficulty sorting out our feelings on this phone. We held off on some of our Sony coverage, waiting for this specific Xperia. For example, delaying our real camera review, so we could use Sony's top offering for this year. We knew it would be similar to the Xperia X, but we were hoping to see a few more differences. And that's probably where we should wrap up for this first look. We need to spend a little time playing with this phone, determine if it's more than just a processor upgrade, and we'll report back. How does it perform as a gaming machine? Are speaker playback and headphone quality improved? Does this version of the Xperia still throttle the camera after 9 minutes of video? So many questions to answer, and the X Performance faces some intense competition from recently reviewed phones like the OnePlus 3, the Moto Z, and this Axon 7, which just got dropped off in our hot little hands. We'll have plenty to report soon. As always, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to this channel for our full Sony Xperia X Performance coverage, and help us out with some sharing on your favorite social networks. For Pocketnow, I'm Juan Carlos Bagnell, some gadget guy on Twitter and Instagram, and I will catch you all on the next video.